Peppa Pig is a light and fun cartoon, made especially for little children. But behind the cute stories, there are theories that make the show even more interesting. Do you know all these crazy theories about Peppa Pig? Whoops! The first one talks about a little pig that almost nobody knows exists, a twin sister of Peppa. According to the theory, this twin would have been rejected by her own family because she showed frightening behavior, and the creepiest part is that she would have never left. On the contrary, she would still be living hidden inside the pig family's house, silently watching everyone. In a promotional poster for the series, where the family appears smiling in front of the house, you can see in one of the windows the face of a child identical to Peppa, staring from afar. Many people believe this is precisely the evil Peppa. And there's more. Some believe that, at certain moments, this sister even takes the place of the real Peppa. That would explain the episodes in which the little pig shows herself to be too bossy, sassy, or even rude for no reason. Now that the family has moved to a bigger house, full of dark corners like the garage and the attic, this twin would have many more places to hide. And with Evie's arrival, the situation may have gotten even more tense, since the baby receives all the attention and affection. If the twin really exists, it's quite possible she feels jealous and is just waiting for the right moment to take revenge. Just imagine, while the family lives the peaceful routine we see in the episodes, a secret and dangerous version of Peppa may be lurking, wandering through the corners of the house, ready to take her real sister's place. Crazy, right? So grab your popcorn, subscribe to the channel, and come check out the most bizarre theories about Peppa here on Zigzag. Everyone knows that Peppa is British at heart, and the cartoon is full of references to England. So much so that Queen Elizabeth II herself has already made several special appearances in the episodes. But then comes the question. In real life, the Queen passed away in September 2022. Could it be that in Peppa's universe this also happened? The series never talks about death, and time there seems to move slowly, since very few characters ever get to celebrate a birthday. But two clues raise suspicions. The first is that, right after Elizabeth's death, Peppa Pig's official social media published a tribute, showing the little piggy jumping in the mud alongside the Queen. The second is that, ever since then, the character has never appeared again in any episode. Coincidence? This makes many people believe that Queen Elizabeth really passed away inside Peppa's story too. And, just like in the real world, a new king would be taking the throne, probably the equivalent of King Charles III, who is her son. Will he still make an appearance in some episode? Speaking of appearances, at first glance Daddy Pig seems to be the calmest guy in the cartoon, but some details raise suspicions that he is hiding something dark. To begin with, in more than 20 years of episodes, Peppa's paternal grandparents have never shown up. They are not even mentioned. That by itself is already strange. Many fans believe that they have already died, but in that case Daddy Pig would probably have mentioned it at some point. The absolute silence gives rise to the theory that he himself got rid of his parents. It sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not the first time that his relatives mysteriously vanished. In Daddy Pig's office, there is a black and white photo of two children who look very much like Peppa and George, only dressed differently. The old photograph indicates that it must have been taken when he was still a child. This suggests that the little girl next to him was his sister, but both she and his parents disappeared without leaving a trace. Imagine if Daddy Pig had been mistreated by them in the past and in a moment of rage ended up causing all their deaths. Uncle Pig may know everything, and that's why he avoids comparisons with his brother. Even though he likes him, he doesn't want to be associated with someone capable of such cruel acts. Today, Daddy Pig seems to have learned how to control his anger, but if one day he loses control again, the whole family is at great risk. Seriously, which is your favorite theory so far? Tell us with the hashtag theory in the comment. We know that Peppa's family is often seen as way too kind. The parents almost never scold their children, even when they do something really wrong. Remember when Peppa almost destroyed Mommy's computer? She didn't get scolded at all. And that sounds way too gentle to be true. Some fans believe that the entire town is part of a mysterious cult. This would explain several strange customs, like adults losing their names as they grow up, being called only Mommy, Daddy, Mr., or Mrs. This cult would also justify the community's isolation, surrounded by mountains with almost no contact with the outside world. In the episode where Susie almost moves to another country, her mother gets a job far away, but then receives a phone call canceling the hiring at the last minute. In the end, she even comments that she will stay in the town forever with a sad expression. If the theory is right, Mrs. Sheep tried to escape, but the cult didn't let her. And there's still another detail. The religion of this group seems to worship children. They are the only ones who have proper names and cannot be severely punished, as if they were sacred beings. This raises a question. If the children are already seen this way, imagine the importance of Evie, the youngest baby in town. Peppa's universe is full of strange situations. But since the show is made for children, almost nobody bothers to question that. But the creators of the series certainly know the idea that our own reality could just be a simulation, as if we were inside a giant computer game. This theory became famous after the release of the movie Matrix in 1999, just a few years before Peppa's premiere. When we look closely, some details of the series really do seem inspired by this idea. Time is completely confusing. Characters take many years to celebrate birthdays, but holidays and special dates repeat all the time. Another curious detail is the sun, which suddenly appears in the sky, as if someone had pressed a button to change the stage. And we see this kind of thing in video games. Games like Minecraft work exactly like that. This raises a frightening hypothesis. What if all the characters were actually real people trapped in an artificial world, condemned to live forever inside that simulation? Crazy, isn't it? But one questionable character is Madame Gazelle. She is remembered by everyone as Peppa's patient and caring teacher, except there is a theory that she hides a much darker secret. She is a vampire. In one episode, she appears in front of a mirror, but her reflection simply does not show up. The narrator himself even comments on this. It is exactly what happens with vampires, who have no reflection either in mirrors or in water. Besides that, Madame Gazelle was already around when Daddy Pig, Mommy Pig, and other adults were still children. She was a teacher back then and continues to be one now, decades later, without any sign of aging. If she were human, she should already be over 50 years old. But what we see is always the same appearance, as if time had no effect on her at all. This leads many to believe that Madame Gazelle may have centuries of life and hides her true nature in order to keep living among the townsfolk. So hurry and subscribe to the channel, because here we uncover everything firsthand and tell you all about it. In some episodes, we have already seen the police officers of the town in action, but it only takes paying a little attention to notice that they do not do their job well. A clear example is when they find a treasure chest that had been stolen by the pirate. Instead of investigating or arresting the culprit, they simply return the chest full of money as if nothing had happened. This raises a question. How could such incapable people have been accepted into the police? Maybe the explanation is not lack of skill, but rather bad intentions. There is a possibility that these police officers turn a blind eye to crimes in exchange for receiving part of the reward. Unfortunately, this happens in the real world too, and it is sad to think that Peppa and her friends may live in a place where the law is not taken seriously, and the safety of the town is at risk. Now, one curious detail in Peppa's universe is that all families are made up of animals of the same species. In nature, this makes sense, but in there, where everyone acts like humans, the question remains, are relationships between different species forbidden? If it were only a matter of not being able to have children, we would still expect to see mixed couples living together, but that never happens. The impression given is that the society in the cartoon does not accept that kind of union. It is a sad thought. After all, love should not be limited by differences of species. On the other hand, the future may bring changes. Peppa's town does not have many animals of the same species who are not relatives, and this will probably force the next generation to form new types of families. And if you enjoyed our video about the crazy theories in Peppa Pig, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. See you next time!